got stabbed up to death because you pissed me off, yeah? You little yeah? You little dickhead, you little nuts. Right, man stabbed up Kyle Wally, yeah, for being a yeah? Man's gonna get sent to jail straight away, get me.
What was supposed to be a night of football and friendship ended in unimaginable violence. Kyle Wally and Mark Jones, close friends, met to watch the European Championship final. But the evening took a dark and deadly turn. Inside the safety of Kyle's own home, a heated argument spiraled out of control. In a horrifying twist, Kyle was stabbed through the heart by someone he trusted. As he lay dying, the brutality didn't stop. He was mercilessly kicked and stamped on, all while the attack was filmed and posted on Snapchat. This is the disturbing case of betrayal, rage, and senseless violence, broadcast for the world to see. As the world shut down during the 2020 COVID-19 lockdown, one teenager was descending into a darkness far more sinister than isolation. 17-year-old Mark Harley Jones wasn't just bored or lonely, he was becoming obsessed. His fixation? Knives. His internet history soon became a disturbing archive of weapon tutorials and violent imagery, feeding an obsession that was growing more dangerous by the day. 23rd June. A chilling video surfaced on TikTok. It was cryptic, unsettling, and appeared to be posted by Mark himself. In it, he delivered a haunting message, a declaration of intent, a desire to stab his own father.
Roses are red. Mark stabbed his dad out of hate.
Yeah, I'm going son to prison. Great.
What had once simmered beneath the surface was now boiling over. Mark Jones's violent intentions were no longer hidden in the shadows. They were on full display. Friends and associates noticed the shift. Mark began carrying knives openly, flaunting them like trophies. On Snapchat, he posed with blades in chilling videos, showing off his weapons with a twisted sense of pride. The warning signs weren't whispers anymore. They were alarms. And it was becoming clear. Violence wasn't just a possibility, it was imminent. Meanwhile, across the UK, the excitement of the European Football Championship was peaking. England had made it to the final, and even in Wales, where the national team had missed out, towns buzzed with anticipation. Among those ready to enjoy the moment were longtime friends Kyle Wally and Mark Jones. They had watched football together for years. So when Kyle invited Mark over to catch the final, it felt like any other plan between friends. But then, everything changed. In a series of disturbing Snapchat videos sent out of nowhere, Mark's tone took a dark turn. He threatened to kill Kyle. In another, he casually claimed he would cut off Kyle's ear on the day of the match, a chilling foreshadowing of what was to come. For most, the signs would have been impossible to ignore. But Kyle Wally had known Mark Jones for years. He'd grown used to his erratic moods and unsettling jokes. So when the threats came in over Snapchat, Kyle didn't panic. He brushed them off as just another dark outburst, the kind Mark had made before. The plan to watch the football final? Still on. But what Kyle didn't realize was that this time, Mark wasn't joking. It was match day. Excitement was in the air, but so was something else. Something far more sinister. That morning, Kyle and Mark messaged back and forth like normal. The tone was light, friendly. They'd stocked up on drinks and were ready for an afternoon of laughs and celebration. By early afternoon, Mark cycled the 2 miles to Kyle's flat. Nothing seemed off. Inside, the two settled in. Drinks were poured. The mood relaxed. But as the day went on and the bottles emptied, something began to change. Mark's demeanor started to shift. His laughs grew sharper, his eyes colder. There was tension building, and Kyle could feel it. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Then, the threats began. This time, face to face. Mark's voice was filled with rage. He started brandishing weapons, his behavior teetering between menace and madness. Kyle's instincts kicked in. He reached for his phone and began frantically messaging friends, trying to warn them, trying to get help. But even with fear rising in his chest, Kyle didn't back down completely. Maybe it was adrenaline. Maybe it was defiance. He stood his ground. And then, everything exploded. Shouts turned into screams, threats into violence. Inside that small flat, all hell broke loose.
Let me go out of this room for 10 minutes, yeah? Because my ADHD, I can't help it. I can't help it, my ADHD, lad! I can't help it! My ADHD, I can't help it!
Put it down!
Tell me!
Put it down then!
Put your phone down!
Put it down!
Put your phone down! I got stabbed up to death because you pissed me off, yeah? You little yeah? You little dickhead, you little Right, man stabbed up Kyle Wally, yeah, for being a yeah? Man's gonna get sent to jail straight away, I get me. I told you that, yeah? I'm gonna get a long time for stabbing him up, but he was a and a lot of people were after him, yeah? Man's hand all covered in blood, yeah? Man's gonna get loads of time for stabbing him up, yeah? But he was a and loads of people after him, so I did the man a favour, innit? Man's covered in hands still, innit? For murdering a ting, innit? But it's worth a ting, innit? Because man was a so he got splashed up, innit?
As the violent attack unfolded, Kyle was still on the phone with a friend who listened in horror as the chaos erupted on the other end of the line. They heard it all: the shouting, the struggle, the fear in Kyle's voice. But it wasn't just one person bearing witness. Mark recorded the attack and posted it on his Snapchat story. Dozens, maybe even hundreds, saw it play out. Panic swept through viewers. Comments flooded in. Emergency services were being contacted from all corners of the country by friends, followers, and complete strangers. Everyone hoping someone would get there in time. But they were too late. When police and paramedics arrived at Kyle's flat, the scene was already one of devastation. Kyle couldn't be saved. Mark didn't get far. As sirens echoed through the streets and blue lights lit up the night, officers moved quickly, helped by the overwhelming number of tips pouring in. People had seen the video. They knew who he was, where he was, what he'd done. He was arrested not long after, his hands still stained with blood. In custody, Mark didn't waste time trying to rewrite the story. He claimed self-defense, said Kyle had the knife first, and he was only trying to protect himself. But the evidence told another story, and that version fell apart quickly. Then came another lie, an accusation that Kyle was a sex offender, and the attack had been some kind of vigilante justice. But that too was false. Kyle had no such history. It was desperation, a pattern of deceit that continued all the way to the courtroom. Mark showed no remorse. He pleaded not guilty. But the jury saw through it. He was found guilty of murder. The sentence? Life in prison, with a minimum term of just 16 years before he's eligible for parole. For some, it felt like justice. For others, especially those who knew and loved Kyle, it felt painfully inadequate. During the sentencing, the court heard that Kyle had long struggled with mental health issues, a detail that may have swayed the decision, but offered little comfort to his grieving family. Kyle's life was taken in a moment of unimaginable violence. His final hours filled with betrayal, fear, and desperate calls for help that came just moments too late. And now, those left behind are forced to live with memories, unanswered questions, and a justice system that many feel failed to deliver the weight his life and his death truly deserved.